Hey everybody, welcome back to the Patcast. I'm your host, Pat Monahan. Before we get started, I just thought I should let you know that tickets for the Sail Across the Sun Cruise 2015 go on sale this Friday, May 16th. If you missed it this year, it was 4 straight days of music, wine, food, and partying with Train, Michael Fronte, Matt Nathanson, Brett Dennen, Yacht Rock Review, John Oates, and a million other friends that we love. We had some amazing celebrity chefs on board and a lot of great activities. Activities like in Step Brothers, when they put their bunk beds on top of each other and then they had so much more room for activities. That kind of activities is what we had going on. Let's see. It starts on February 13 and we'll be going from Miami to Key West and Great Stirrup Cay in the Bahamas, which is, I heard, is amazing. I've not been there yet, but people really dig it. The full lineup hasn't been announced yet, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a blast, and you'll get to see us live. You'll get to see the Patcast live, and I may even do a secret karaoke again. But that's a secret just between us, and now that 50,000 people are listening, it's really a shitty secret. So don't tell anybody other than these 50,000 people. Tickets, so seriously, are on sale on Friday. SailAcrossTheSun.com if you want to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to be excited about. We are wrapping up the recording of a brand new Train record. Our new single comes out in June. I think on June 9th on the Howard Stern Show is the first time that anyone will ever hear it. And Jimmy's already posted what the name of it is. It's called Angel in Blue Jeans, and it's about me. I'm just kidding. It's not about me at all, although I do look stunning in certain jeans. We have a bunch of live shows coming up this summer. The cruise is being planned as we speak, and we could, I don't know. I don't know how to top any of this. But then again, what about Rick fucking Springfield? How would that be to top it off? That's right. This week, it's your favorite Jesse's Girl singing, General Hospital starring, guitar god sex symbol Rick Springfield on this podcast. Myself, Jerry, and Pergo, we're all very excited about this one. Last week, we went out to Rick's house in Malibu. He's been doing quite a bit of press because he just put out a novel. It's called Magnificent Vibration, and it's really kind of awesome. Pergo's way deep in this book. In fact, Pergo, we had a great experience on the way home from this podcast because Pergo's trying to buy this house. He thought he blew it, and I kept quoting the Big Lebowski by saying, "Where's the fucking money, Lebowski?" Pergo did not like that at all. He almost quit, which was really kind of fun for Jerry and I, because that's kind of our goal in all of this, is to see if we can get Pergo to quit. But he just bought a house, so he can't quit, so that's even more fun. He made us feel right at home. Now I'm talking about Rick Springfield again. He made us feel at home in his studio, which is decorated with the kinds of toys and fun things that only Pergo and Jerry can enjoy. Things about Star Wars and Star Trek. There were some pretty amazing things from other, I'm not allowed to talk about, but awesome stuff that's very valuable. So I will be breaking into Rick Springfield's house at some point in the future. And even though we all went in already being big fans of his, we kind of left amazed at just how much he's done in his career. Rick Springfield is endlessly motivated. He's the kind of guy who can't sit still for more than a minute. He talks about being ADD, which I think he was kidding on some level, but at the same time, I think he was serious that it has probably led to as many problems as it has to his incredible success. The restless nature led him to play in a whole bunch of bands in Australia when he was a kid, and as a young man, he moved to Los Angeles, where he now lives and has lived for all of his adult life. He started his solo career here in America, and several albums in, started an acting career. And his acting career was actually very successful. His IMDb page is almost as long as his discography. He did guest appearances on a lot of major TV shows, and he was a main character on General Hospital for, he says that he was only on for 18 months, but it seems like years, and he'll talk about that as well. During his time on that show, he released the biggest record of his career and proceeded to tour the world behind a string of hit songs. He's continued to do some acting throughout his career, and he still tours relentlessly. After releasing a critically and commercially successful memoir several years ago, he decided to give fiction a shot. And so now, with Magnificent Vibration coming out last week, he's doing some book signings to warm up for a full summer tour of music that you can check out on his website that I'll turn you on to later. Rick's career has been impressive to say the least, and he was a really fun guy to sit in a room with. He played songs, told stories, and gave us a really great interview. It's Rick Springfield this week on the Patcast.
What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking, looking at you. You got to get it while the getting is good. Laugh when you can, cry when you should. You got to give it till the giving is gone. Do what you can, then you move on. What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking, looking at you.
Yeah, hard to believe that we do this professionally.
Yeah, we're good to go.
I know. I get paid for doing this.
Hey, so here we are back with the Patcast, and I don't know if I've ever been this excited. This is so much more fun than Richard Marx. Like Richard, he was so not fun, and here I get to hang out with you, Rick Springfield. This is incredible in your Malibu home, in your studio.
Very happy to have you here too.
And you happen to know Richard, don't you?
I do, as a matter of fact. He's a funny guy. I'm surprised he wasn't.
No, he was awesome.
Oh, he was. Okay,
You're just so much better. And
I am. I mean, he knows that, so I'm not saying anything that out of talking out of
it's nothing
school
he
here,
doesn't
but
already know.
He knows.
You
I'm
guys
pretty
met
cool.
on a cruise? Did you?
Yeah,
do
he
do
came
you
on
have
my cruise. We have a fan event every year.
Every year you do.
We're doing it. We ran out of Club Med, and we're doing that now
that's
on
amazing.
land. So because of
Club
too
Med
many
is
diseases
for
on those
single
friggin'
people,
ships.
right?
What?
Club Med is for single people.
It is for single people, yes, and the alcohol's free.
Wow,
so,
that's incredible.
So you can't go wrong.
So instead of having diseases on the boat, you just get it all done at Club Med.
Pretty much, yeah.
And there are different types of diseases.
There are. There's.
He's traded in the salmonella for STDs.
Yes, STD, exactly. I'm trying to think of the correct term.
So, one of the things that I think about you that I would love.
You hear that crunching?
I hear
Sounds
it.
good.
It sounds great
Keep
on.
it up.
Sorry,
on
coughed up.
tape.
Go ahead, Pat.
One of the things that I don't think people really get, or maybe they do, but is that you're a really insanely talented musician, and it's kind of how you started your career as a kid, as being like a blazing guitar guy.
Yeah,
And
I actually won most popular guitar player in 1971 in Australia. Not best, most popular.
So this is the question, because you don't sound Australian to anyone that I know. So when you hear that you're Australian, that's a shock.
I know, people actually forget. I have to remind them.
But how long were you in Australia to have acquired the accent? Or
Well, I was born in Sydney. I lived in Melbourne. Then we moved to England when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then came back to Australia. And I left Australia when I was 22.
Okay.
And I used to talk like this. Only my voice was a bit higher because I was younger. So it was kind of like this. I see old Dick Clark interviews from like the early 70s.
Yeah.
And now this is a guy from Australia, Rick Smith. Oh, hi, Dick. How are you? How you going? Yeah. Oh, everything's cool.
Oh, it's so crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm here to play music for you Americans.
How old were you?
22.
You were 22 on the Dick Clark. Were you on American Bandstand?
Yeah, I've been on American Bandstand all through the. I think I was even on there in the 50s.
But that's amazing, man. I mean,
Wow.
I don't like, your career is so, like, basically the topic for this whole conversation for me is how driven you are as a human being. Like, I don't know anyone. Like, my manager Jonathan is like, dude, if you want to see what you are going to be like in a few years, you got to go talk to Rick, because there's this undying thing. But before we get to all
you
of
have ADD too, right?
I have a lot of problems, but and the new one is wine. But that's a
Red.
yeah, red, yeah.
Dude,
Do you have that?
That's my drink.
Oh,
My
you
drink.
have that problem.
Well, because I'm a writer. Now There's a reason Hemingway was a friggin' drunk, okay? Because when you drink, you can just write great shit. I mean, sometimes like you get up next morning and go, seriously? I thought that was good.
Seriously, those kids are mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. It's a weird thing. It's the same thing with pot where, when I was a kid, I would write a lot high. And then the next day, and then you're like, oh my God, I
hit it.
I am Kurt Cobain. I am awesome.
Yeah.
And then the next day you realize that you're Larry Cobain, the guy that no one ever heard of. It's so stupid. But you as a kid, you're here, you come to the United States because you've already done really big stuff in Australia as a really young guy, right?
Yeah. I was kind of I started getting like press in bed. You ever got your finger stuck in one of these things?
All the
Dude,
time.
it's so...
Other
I have
things,
a slide.
too.
My slide, I'm getting... For those that don't have video... It keeps getting stuck in my finger. See, ADD, I told you.
You really are
I go all over the
ADD.
friggin' map. What
Yeah.
you ask me?
So, as a young guy in Australia, you already started to make a big impression on the country.
Yeah, I mean, I was a known guitar player from like about 18, 17. And I was in... I was in a band that just started getting some press, and they broke up.
Zoot.
No, it was actually I
before
joined
Zoot.
Zoot from that band. This was because we had a single, and the bass player was pissed that they wanted me to sing it, so he broke the band up.
He did.
It was
I
a
love
great-
that story.
MPD Limited?
What? MPD? No, that was the one I went to Vietnam with. MPD was the one I went to.
Is there
Vietnam.
any word on the bass player now that broke the band up? How he's doing?
I'm going to Australia in October for the first time ever I've ever toured as a solo artist, so he may show up.
Are you kidding
And
me?
he still owes me $70. He's one of those guys.
Get it.
He was the one who taught me never to loan
Why
money.
has it taken so long to go back
I know,
to
isn't that
Australia?
weird? I know. Well, we'd finish like in the 80s. We'd finish like a world tour, and then usually end up in Japan. And
Right.
and they go, well, let's
Yeah,
go to
since
Australia.
you're here, go to Australia.
Yeah,
Right.
and I go, oh, dude, I'm so tired. I just want to go home. So I never did.
That's amazing. And do you think that the reception is going to be? I mean, I would
They're probably,
imagine.
I never heard of this friggin' American. Who is it?
But like to me, it's bizarre that it's taken this long. But it's going home for you. Will it be like that for fans?
Yeah, I mean, this is my home. Honestly, I've lived here longer than I lived in Australia, but I do love Australia. I do have a connection to it.
Yeah.
And the press has been good on when they announce the tour. So I mean, people are going to come for sure. But it's,
That's awesome.
It's just really odd that I haven't.
It's
Last
really
time I
odd.
toured there, I was speaking like this.
Wow, that's so funny to me. Why? I mean, because it is just such a long trip for you.
It is a long ride. Yeah, it's friggin' like going to Mars.
It is
it's a
kinda like going to
long,
Mars.
Long flight. Yeah.
And then when you're there, you're like, why? We should just stay a while, like
Yeah.
a year, because that flight home is a real asshole.
you got to pack a lunch when you go.
And so, speaking of pack a lunch, you live so far out in Malibu. Finding your house, we had to stop and buy a new GPS system because there's like a limited edition for this area.
It was, the other one was out of date.
Yeah, it was out of date by the time we got here.
Yeah.
So
Now you know why I asked you guys to come here. Right?
well, yeah, you came from like down under to like this is probably we're pretty close to Australia. I think if we drove
We're getting
that
closer.
long.
Yeah, it's kind of was in my mind to move closer to Australia, so I moved way the fuck out here.
Yeah. And so as a kid, you're making this impression on Australia. You come to the United States, you're on American Bandstand and everything. Is this as a solo artist now?
Yeah.
That you're on American Bandstand?
Yeah, I had one hit as a solo artist in Australia after I left. There's a big band I was in called the Zoot.
Right.
That through like late 60s, just early 70s. And we split up. Actually, it was a great band. It really was a good band, but EMI over here wanted to sign us because there were really four good-looking guys. We all really played. The bass player went on to form Little River Band.
Man,
Whoa.
love that
Daryl,
band.
the singer, was a big TV star in Australia.
And is Little River Band an Australian band?
Yeah, yeah. Not
don't know
not the one that's touring now. The one that's touring is just a guy.
But no, the original
walking in.
band
Yeah,
that,
they're all
that
Aussies. They're
wrote.
all-
Wow, that's great.
Glenn Shark, the singer, was big in a big band called the Twilights when the Zoot were big in Australia. Amazing singer, just a freaking awesome singer.
Man.
His voice is, he's from Liverpool. And he's got this
Yeah.
that Liverpool husk,
Yeah.
And sorry, ADD. Where were we?
Night owls.
Night Owls. Night Owl. Yeah, right. There you go. And Yes, so that they wanted to sign us, but our Australian record company wouldn't let us out of the deal. So
Right.
So we could have really done something here as a band. I think that Daryl, the lead singer, is kind of.
Have you thought about, like, as grown-ups, doing it like are you too far deep into your own personality that you could do a band?
No,
at the stage?
I got for one of the last cruise, last Rick Springfield and Friends cruise, I got the Zoot back together.
Oh, that's great.
40
man.
years. We hadn't played in 40 years. Wow. And we did a show.
How many of your looks held up? Like you said, 4 great-looking guys.
Oh, yeah. No,
Was it
everyone's
just
still
one
in shape.
at this
Everyone
point?
still got their hair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It was
cool.
pretty amazing, actually. But unfortunately, we got together for the first time in 40 years. We did a show. Daryl was still living in Australia. Beebe lives in Nashville, the bass player who was part of Little River Band. And Malk, the drummer, lives up in the Crocodiles up north. But they came over, we did a show, and 3 months, we recorded it, we're going to release it, and we're thinking of doing a little tour around Australia, putting the Zoot back together, because we're about the only 60s band that has never done a resurgence tour in Australia, because I've always been over here.
And people would know it, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I had a heavy metal version of Eleanor Rigby that I arranged that was our
that's
biggest
amazing.
hit. Really bizarre.
Were you the only guitar player in that band?
It was a Who type thing, singer, and we kind of, trying to be Australia's Who, but guitars are too expensive, so I just pretended to break them.
Right.
But 3 months after the show that we got together here, Daryl died. The lead singer passed away, and he didn't know that he was sick at the time. So, and we're all going, he had people talking to him about getting ready to do a tour over there.
That's too bad, man.
Yeah, it was a real drag. Really sweet guy, just out of nowhere.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But so you come to the United States, you start to make an impression, but then, if you read up on you, then you have another record company that really they want to switch gears with you a little bit, and they want to, like, go after the teen girls.
Oh, very much so.
And really go after the fact that you're a great-looking kid who sings and writes songs. And
they didn't care about that. They just wanted
no,
you
they
to
don't
be
care about that part.
They just wanted you to be androgynous, and so that you wouldn't scare the 12-year-old girls.
But this is a
penis.
turning point in all of it, though, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't. When I came over here, I was a serious musician. I mean, I love playing guitar. I love writing, and I thought press was press. We didn't have teen magazines in Australia. So when they started lining me up with 16 magazine, all these magazines, I'm going, wow, this is awesome.
Sure.
The music press already accept me. This is fucking cool. And do we do a real interview? And they show someone to show me the article, and it's like, is Rick too tall to love? I go, what the fuck?
Hey, that's a great question. Are you?
I am much too tall to love, thank you. What? My favorite color, and listing all this stupid
that's
stuff.
amazing,
And it was
man.
like, I said, what is this? I thought, I imagined they were like Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
It's going to come out like a serious article, and and then I kind of I got a real lot of reaction, because I was a David Cassidy thing, and they were actually trying to they were thinking I was going to be the next David Cassidy. In fact, ABC the television did a survey of all the teen magazines in like 73 and said, who do they think is going to be the next David Cassidy? And they all said me. And so ABC did this lame cartoon series called Mission Magic, which, please, I never look at it. It's hideous. I'm talking like this, and there's this like magic. I'm playing Rick Springfield in this stupid cartoon, and it was horrible. It was horrible. I had to
But
write
you were like writing songs.
Yeah,
for
I had to
it and
write a
everything.
song a week for this show, and it had to end and had to be a complete song in a minute and a half. But I had to make it long enough so if we want to put an album out, it would still, it was such a bizarre writing
definitely
thing.
the beginning of a different part of your life. Like
It was a sidestep.
This is, but as much as
right
it's a
into dog shit.
sidestep, it's also, this is leading you to a place where this is new ground. Like, this is what I think people now know you as an actor and as a pop singer and all of these things that I think started here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because before this, you're this blazing guitar player. You sing songs, you write songs. This is where it turns into like, this kid is cash money. Like, he is the answer to a lot of our problems. And you're young enough and good enough
I
and good
still
enough
believe
looking
that-
to go like, fuck yeah, man, this sounds like a great
I
idea.
still
We all
believe
win.
that they knew what they were doing.
Of course.
I was a new kid from Australia. I knew I didn't know any of the ropes over here, so I figured they, the guy that managed me, actually, one of the guys that managed me was an American guy, great, who I still, know, Steve Binder. He directed the Elvis Presley special, the big comeback special.
Yeah.
So he was like looking for one of those kind of guys, and so the whole look and the whole thing was really pushed.
Do you resent him at this
No,
point? Or
no.
He was
a great guy. He was really wonderful, and he really believed. And the hardest phone call I ever had to make in my life was picking up the phone to call him and saying I want out.
Really?
Yeah, because
And when was that? How deep into this?
1974.
And why?
Because the teen thing had gotten so entrenched that I knew I had to get out of it, and that was the only direction they really wanted me to go in.
What was the outcome if you didn't get out of it?
I was a bad match for that because I wrote. I mean, my first album had songs about like some guy committing suicide and this woman, should she leave her husband because she's got kids because he's fucking around and all this kind of stuff.
You're writing songwriting.
Yeah,
songs.
and the teen magazines are going, doesn't somebody want to be wanted? We can, 12-year-old kids aren't going to have nothing in common with this kind of stuff.
Right.
So it was I didn't have the goods for the direction they wanted, which in retrospect I'm very happy for.
Really
I think
good,
my career
yeah,
would have
right.
been a lot shorter.
Because your career ends up being 3 years.
Yeah, three
it's like,
super hot years, and then
Yeah, I mean, you might have had
Vegas.
enough money to give to your grandkids.
I was clueless about money. I never saw any money, dude. It's really,
Really?
Well, you get into it. You get into it. You can't believe. I couldn't believe the first time I got paid for playing a guitar. I mean,
Right.
you get in it, and you're successful at it because you love it, and that's why you stick at it.
Where is the money? Like, seriously, where is that money?
It's on my wall. I can show you all my Beatle lyrics.
No, I guess what I'm saying is,
Buy some?
who?
I have a wall that's worth more than my
No,
house.
I'm not saying like, where is your money? I'm saying,
Oh, from them.
who took that money? Where
they,
is it?
They did because I signed the contract with them without having a lawyer even looking at it. I didn't know. I thought, well, these guys are good guys. They're fair, and I didn't know. Totally green. It was really like they took all my publishing.
Wow, what fuckers! It's so crazy.
Yeah.
That
But that was what you did then.
But like these kids now, they live in this world of where artists are kind of in a safety hold, as opposed to what used to be the business people. Like I talked to my
Sharks.
manager a lot about getting to be a famous musician at this point in life, in humanity, is probably going to be pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you were supposed to get into it for in the first place. So you're safe now because people aren't really trying to get you. There's always going to be somebody trying to get what's yours.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, we're all being protected. In fact, most people don't even get publishing deals. Pretty soon you won't need a record deal. I mean, even probably now. You can have access to getting to more and more people. This transition, there's so much to talk to you about, but this transition you have seen on every level, like from what you did, and you've been gouged by all the guys that are no longer in the business because the even playing field has now become more on our side. And so you've watched these people disappear who have gouged the business that is our art form. And here we are in iTunes is almost obsolete. I mean, it's almost like YouTube is everything, and everything beyond that is bullshit. And before that, that wasn't even a dream. And we were selling, small little records with an A side and a B side that the Beatles,
loved that.
and all that shit was so cool. And you lived through all of that shit. What was the best phase of it all? Are you in it, or was it the part where they took all your money? Like
I enjoyed that. That was a good moment. Yeah, no, that was cool. My ass was sore for a couple of days, but overall it was a good experience.
Yeah.
They didn't. I mean, I'm not saying the guys that brought me over were crooks, but it was what was done, and they paid for my apartment. They gave me some money if I needed it. But
So
it was
to
my
them-
fault for being a clueless goober.
Oh, really? You take the responsibility, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
that's
I
interesting.
had no idea. I mean, you are responsible for yourself. Totally. I mean, people who continually get taken advantage of, it's their fucking fault. Honestly, you learn. I mean, you get hurt and you learn, but you really got to. watch out for yourself. I mean, I truly, the point of that is that I came over here thinking every person I did an interview with was doing it to help my career.
Right.
I didn't think they had a career. It was to help my career.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone who was doing stuff for me was doing it because they liked me and they thought I was going to be a big star. I didn't realize everyone had their own agenda. And then suddenly,
You sound like, the naivety is
extreme.
or naivetivity is such a lovely. I hope my kids are naive like that. That sounds like good parenting to me.
Yeah.
Did you have good parents?
I did have great parents. Yeah, my dad especially was. I could have used some a little instruction on what to do once I started making money. Because that's actually a tough.
But don't you agree that when you come here and you're like, wow, I didn't know that there were terrible people. That's kind of a lovely umbrella that you lived under, right?
I guess. I mean, I've always had a kind of an innocence anyway. I mean, I'm still the last guy to know that someone's trying to fuck me over.
But I love that, man. I think that's why you probably have some pretty dear, lovely friends and people around you.
Yeah, I do. I've weeded out most of the bad ones.
Right.
Jury's still out on a couple of them, but
well, we're here in the room with you. You should probably not talk about us like that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Good call.
But I see this huge, long line of this music career. What is the best part of it? Like, what are the things that you think? What are the things you miss about the old music business, and what are the things that you love about the new music business?
I miss the whole record thing. I love the whole album.
Holding a vinyl and looking at the pictures.
Yeah, and actually a kid who I knew when he was a little kid around this area, he's got a band now, and he sent me he said, oh, vinyl's all hip now, so he sent me this vinyl album, and it's like remember when they really were doing them, you could bend them like this, and they would with nothing. You could shake them like this.
Yeah.
This thing was like a friggin' baseball diamond. It was like solid, whoa, heavy, and but I miss that. I miss the whole art form of that. I mean, I used to love, and I hear a lot of people talking about this, how you get the album, you'd run home, you put it on, and you'd look at all the credits and look at who was playing what, and you got to know the band really much deeper, I think, because there was a lot of cool information, and it's an art form that's gone.
Do you
and
think
I really
music
miss that.
was better? Or
No, I don't think so. I think I have great songs out now. I think, people say, oh, the music, it's not organic anymore, but it's still got to come. If it's recorded, on Pro Tools with a click track and artificial drums and whatever, and not even real guitar, it still comes from the song. It's got to be a great song. And I mean, I'm not talking about the rap stuff and all that kind of thing, because that's a genre I don't truly understand. But as far as a great song's a great song, no matter how it's recorded. And so I think the biggest change has been the artist change, where we grew up. You formed who you were through the struggles of trying to get. We wanted to be successful because you do it because you love it, but you want to share it. You want people to hear your voice. You want to hear what you're saying in your lyrics, and you want to put who you are out there. So you go up through the ranks, and it's not a matter of paying dues, but you learn who you are and focus your talent. I think through those pitfalls and the shitty clubs and the people saying you suck. Whereas now, a waitress come on stage, put you on American Idol, bang, you're famous. There.
Right.
And I think a lot of them don't know who they are.
And what do you think about that?
It's the way it is. It's like I don't bemoan it because it's the way it is. It's like saying, "Oh man."
Do you think that it's doing the waitress more harm or more good?
I think it completely depends on the person. It's like, you see people that win the lottery, because I liken it to winning a lottery. I mean, but there is talent involved. I mean, there's some amazing singers for sure. I mean,
but there's talent in buying the right ticket.
What's that?
There's talent in buying the right ticket, the lottery ticket as well. There's a lot of people who can sing, but should they be?
Should they have the careers that? I think it hurts them.
Ella Fitzgerald didn't write those songs,
right?
But man, nobody could sing them. Nobody could deliver the message better than Ella.
Yeah.
So I guess it would depend.
The song interpreters for sure. I always, if I meet a musician, I always say, "Do you write?"
Yeah.
Because to me, for me, that's been the crux of everything for me is writing.
So, in writing, has everything to do with what I believe is the talent behind the real essence of entertainment, whether it's, you wrote the
script.
award show script,
Yeah, no, exactly.
or a movie or a television.
Yeah, it has to start
you have
with
a
a written
novel.
word.
But before I get into all of that shit, speaking of writing, we asked if you would play a song with us, and you chose the Muddy Waters song, and.
I was a big blues fan because I thought,
But it's such an interesting take on music. Like Muddy Waters, this song was probably written 112 years ago.
at least,
And it's been recorded by like Canned Heat, Bob Dylan. You have a version on YouTube that you're blazing on the dobro. Is that what you're playing right now?
yeah, this is the acoustic one actually. I have an electric one that I use on the stage. It's really.
But of all the songs in the whole universe, why this one?
I know. I love playing blues. I play blues absolutely for fun. You know, I'm not.
Yeah?
I'm not trying to learn anything from it as a songwriter.
Is it what you learned in the beginning?
Yeah, I was in blues bands first. That's what I first. A couple of little pop bands trying to copy the Beatles stuff, but then I discovered the blues. You know, the Stones really turned a lot of us white boys onto all the
Sure.
great blues, and I thought, what better interpreter of Black American blues than a 16-year-old middle-class white Australian child? And I fucking nailed it, man.
Would you mind doing the song right now?
Yeah, sure.
Like, I'm not sure that I have any business singing on this song with
course
you.
you do.
I'm gonna back off and maybe once in a while go.
The great thing about blues is that
There's no rules.
No, but there's one lyric, and then you repeat the lyric, and
Yeah.
then you repeat the lyric, and then you do an ending line.
I have the lyrics here.
Oh, awesome! Because my memory sucks.
Oh, great! I'm gonna hold it here.
Right.
One of my favorite lyrics here is, "Well, if the river was whiskey and I was a diving duck," and then again, "Well, if the river was whiskey and I was a diving duck, well, I would dive to the bottom. Never would I come up."
I can think of a way better rhyming word for duck. Up doesn't really rhyme.
Luck, yeah,
Luck,
Good
exactly.
call. All right.
Actually, there's so many versions of this that they're
Man,
not even the lyrics that I
You
do.
do whatever version you want. You
I'll
because
do the out-of-tune version.
this is Pergo is always the lyric interpreter because he has a master's degree in English, which
Excuse
is
fucking me.
yeah, exactly. That's what I say to him all the time. So sometimes
Me for all.
sometimes he'll hand me lyrics, and I think he's just fucking with me. And he's like,
Oh, so
nope,
you write the
nope.
lyrics?
It's
Well,
no.
I
It's,
copy and paste them.
Oh.
It's now they taught me in graduate school, but it does the trick most
yeah,
of the time.
I'm not sure that this has anything to do with the song or just the way he was feeling this morning.
Oh.
So,
he might have just made it up.
I'm not sure. So this
Okay.
is Pergo's interpretation of a Muddy Waters song.
I think it's Muddy. Is Muddy Waters wrote this? I don't even know.
Well, I roll and I tumble, yeah, the whole night long. Oh! Well, I roll and I tumble, cried the whole night long. Well, I woke up in the morning, everything I had was gone. When I roll my baby, she's gonna jump and shout. When I roll my baby, she's gonna jump and shout. When that train rolls up, I'm gonna come walking on out. Solo! skin women wouldn't let me have my way.
Woo! That shit's
We didn't get a
ripping,
sound
man.
check. Maddie, was that okay? All right.
Man, that sounded awesome.
Halfway through it, I'm going, oh, shit.
It was great.
My favorite part is that you played it with Jerry. Jerry Becker is my guitar player and keyboard player in Train, and he usually gets the last word. And he tried to get the last word in a couple times by playing the riff at the end, and then you
Hey,
showed
man, I'm
him.
right here.
You were
I'm
like,
right
no,
here."
I'm Rick Springfield.
You don't need to-
I get the last fucking word. And I like that, how you did
Backseat,
that.
baby.
Oh, I know.
One word, backseat. No, well, the thing is...
Thanks, Rick.
Actually, 2 words.
I got both of you in the room now. That sounds great.
Oh, shit. He's right there. The thing with there's the riff, you know, but you can do it twice or 3 times. This is the thing with blues, like Robert Johnson.
Right.
I mean, I don't know where his timing is. Dylan copies that sometimes when he does like
Right.
blues tinge things. He'll copy the weird bars.
Right.
It's really.
I kept watching you going 3, 2, 4.
Yeah, no.
What
Hey, man, it's authentic.
You killed it.
So you use the name Rick Springfield, and Bruce Springsteen's huge, right? So you write a song called Bruce? Is that right? About a girl that calls you Rick Springsteen or some shit?
Right.
That's so funny to me.
Actually, I wrote another one for the solo show that does mention something about that. It goes, what's the first verse, baby?
I wish like if I had a million wishes. Wish my neighbor would choke on his yappy dog. Wish I could pick my relatives from a catalog. The hot girl next door would tan, wearing nothing but a smile. Wish I could get that knighthood from the Queen. I wish folks would quit calling me Rick Springsteen. And I wish rock pop stars could win the Nobel Peace Prize. I wish that we were all equal in each other's eyes. If witches were fishes, I wouldn't smell so sweet. There'd be a million dead fish lying at my feet. I wish and I wish to make my life complete, but real life steps in to screw it up.
There's one verse of it anyway.
That's awesome, man. It's just like you. How are you still having fun? Like, I'm so mad at everybody. Like I just have so many people to be mad at. But
I
like
get that.
you're having a great time, and you're like that's so.
I've always tried to put, like my solo shows really had a lot of humor in it.
Yeah.
And it's a self-deprecating thing that you can't take yourself too seriously. Really.
Right, but I
do
mean
take
that's
when I work
that's kind of
seriously.
your gift. Like let's get into the ambitious part of you, because I've asked a lot of people, is ambition a curse or a blessing?
Oh, it's both, because I believe that everything is a front and a back. There's no life without life without death. There's no up without down. So I think everything is everything comes with its equal.
So
something
those who
wonderful.
are ambitious have
So
to.
I think ambition is great, but and it's my driver. I'm very driven, but
but it's torturous.
it's
as well.
torturous at times too. Absolutely torturous.
And if you weren't ambitious, don't you think that there's some kind of peace in
yeah,
that?
I'm sure.
But then you don't get
wouldn't
the
be peace
fruits
for
of
me.
the late. Right, for me either.
Yeah.
Like, I always wonder this. Like, I don't know what to think of this, because I just can't seem to put it down.
I think that's a good thing. I mean, I drive is it's a. I think it's only bad when you hurt people, and I've certainly hurt my share of people in my
Have you?
drive. Yeah.
And did you know at the time that you were hurting somebody?
Sometimes I did. Most of the time not. But I was so focused on
Right.
what I wanted that.
Yeah, that's when the train moving that quick tends to be a problem.
And you don't. I've never been the kind of guy that purposely fucks people over. But you do. Do people do get hurt? 'Cause, you get hurt too.
Sure.
From shit not working out. And,
Right.
And I mean, certainly written albums that didn't hardly were ever heard outside of the fan base. And I think.
But it sounds like you'll never stop trying.
No, which is I think that I always tell my kids the 3 most important things are never give up, never give up, and never give up. And that's basically been my...
But do you think you can learn that? Is that something that did anyone ever say that to you and
Yeah,
it made a difference?
No, I started reading books early on, but I was driven to go pick up the book to see...
Yeah, it seems like a guy like you would need to hear other things.
Well, you always got to be reminded, and mainly, you need to be reminded when things aren't going right. When your drive is pushing your head against a wall. That's when you need to read something.
Right.
And I have some authors and some books that have really helped me.
What were they?
What?
What were they?
Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge. Did you read the other comic book? I think dude, it's so fucking deep. It's really no. There's a book. The first one I read was called Think and Grow Rich by a guy named Napoleon Hill. And back then when I was like 17 or 18, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I want to be rich.
My brother. I have 3 older brothers and 3 older sisters, and my brother Scott. That book meant everything to him.
Yeah, it's the foundation of, and it says it's called Think and Grow Rich, but it's basically a spiritual book and how you create your world.
Right.
And the majority of people a lot of people live in, like, for example, live in a poverty mindset. They worry about, gotta pay, and I've been there. I only know, I recognize
have been too.
it, right? Gotta pay the friggin' light bill. How am I gonna do this? And so what you tell yourself, you attract. And this focuses on, your mind is just as powerful to fuck with you and mess your life up as it is to drive you forward to what you really want.
When did you have those I got to pay my light bill kind of?
Oh, God.
Because it seems like your career started so early.
Yeah, but when I came over here, like when I left my managers that brought me over here and did the whole team thing.
You had
then
to
I
start
was
from scratch.
Yeah, I was on my own. All the friends, any friends I had or acquaintances left, just took
And
off.
all the work that you had done created no cushion for you.
It was, not at all. No, I mean,
Did it create opportunity? I mean, did you have at least people? People knew when you walked in the door that there was a chance.
Yeah. Well, it did. Like, it got me into a couple of record labels. A guy was a fan from the early '70s, and actually, my RCA deal that Working Class Dog was on, he was a fan of this album that had like totally tanked, but he loved the album, and in 1973, and so he signed me in 1980. He got to a position of power and record label, and
that's awesome.
So that kind of stuff helps.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's great.
What you do never goes away. I mean, there was always. So, I mean,
that's a problem sometimes.
It is. I'd be playing in bars, and a girl come up and go, "Aren't you Rick Springfield?" And we'd be playing in a friggin' restaurant bar, to make money, like in 1976 or something.
Yeah,
and that kind of stuff was kind of difficult. Yeah.
And did that feel like you were definitely on the way out, or were you like, man, I got a lot of work to do to pick this shit up again?
Both, and life is like that.
Right.
It's never.
I try to tell my kids that those are the moments that all of the creative part of your life will come from. Like, if you sit in the ditch and you think about the ditch, then you're going to just stay in the ditch.
Yeah.
But if you're down there thinking about,
one day I'm going to write about
this,
this and the
this
world's
shit,
going to hear
this
it.
story's going to be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can try to make the ditch a great story, it's a pretty cool life.
That's a great way to put it. And there is, I was in a lot of ditches, certainly through the 70s. I had, like I said, I had no money, and some guy, used to be a club in L.A. here called the Starwood where I played a couple of times. And I was sitting there one night watching some band, and a guy leaned over and said, "Aren't you Rick Springfield?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You should have gone further, man." And this was like 1973, and that was the double thing that you talk about. How
that feels
part
pretty
of me
good,
went,
though.
Fuck that! I'm gonna one day that's gonna be a story. And then another part went, "Oh my God, what if he's right? What if that's it?" So there's that.
But that doesn't sound insulting as much as...
No, it wasn't insulting, but what it meant to me was, you should have gone further. Meaning, it's over.
You stopped.
It's over, baby.
Right? Yeah, you can turn. When you're down, you can turn a great compliment into the worst thing you ever heard in your life.
Absolutely. It's like when someone says, "Hey, you look great today." I instantly go, "Really? I look like shit all the other days?" Fuck?
No, the worst thing ever is, "Really? You're that old? You look great for that age." You go, "Oh man, I hope that something weird happens to you when we leave." But
73. How long have you been in the States?
Since 71.
71, and you were still years away from having number one enormous smash.
Yeah, it was
right.
It was a long road.
But this is the phase to me that this is the question that my manager had, that it was very interesting the way he put it was because you went from being a great musician to this teen idol sensation that they wanted to push on the world. Then there was a phase between this and when you really broke as an artist in the United States that you became an actor.
Right.
So his question was, did you become an actor and go to General Hospital because that sounded like a great idea to you, or because you felt like there was nowhere to go at that moment?
I did General Hospital. I took General Hospital for the money.
You needed the money, and
I had never had regular money in my life up until that point, because I never really had a job. I wanted to be a musician. I said, that's it. That's what I'm going to do, you know. But the acting thing, I was walking around. I just separated from the managers that brought me over, you know, the teen guys. And the wife of one of the guys, I was walking down the street one day around my apartment. She said, I'm going to this acting class. Why don't you come along? You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I went along, and that really saved me because I was very lonely at that point. And
you're still pretty thick accent.
Yeah,
with,
I hadn't changed my accent yet. 'Cause I changed that really because when I started acting, there were no parts for Australians. I mean, people would ask me, would say, "Oh, you're from Australia? How long did it take you to learn English?" Nobody. seriously, there was incredible ignorance about Australia over here then, or around the world. I mean, no one really knew it. You know, some guys thought I said Austria and said, "Wow, you don't have much of an accent." You know, you have to listen closely. And so I went to a voice coach and I said, I got to be competitive. I don't want to be thinking about the accent while I'm trying to work as an actor. So I have to get it.
It's hard enough to act, man. It's an intense job.
I love it now. I did a lot then to try and make money, which was stupid because all the guys in the acting class are waiting tables to get an acting gig. But here I'm going, I'm a musician. I need to make some money. I'm going to act for a little while.
Right.
You know, and it's actually ignorance is bliss sometimes. I started to work. I started to get real small paying gigs, but there were like guest starring roles on like The Hulk and $6 Million Man.
How
Rockford
was
Files.
it working with Lou Ferrigno?
He is awesome.
Did you have scenes with him?
What?
Did you have scenes with the
Yeah.
Hulk?
Oh, yeah.
How about Bill Bixby?
Bill was awesome.
Yeah, man. How about
exciting.
James Garner?
So cool.
Woo! I
Were
love
you on
this
Rockford
Garner.
Files?
Yeah, he was the coolest.
This
He
is
really
my
was.
life right now. I'm like, I watch all these
Dude, Lou
shows.
Ferrigno, they paint him in this green friggin' paint. And
Whoa. He wasn't really green?
Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting you're there.
Me too.
Yeah. Really? You mean that brow? Doesn't have that brow? But they'd paint him in this green paint, and he had to go sit in a refrigerated dressing room, or it would run.
Oh my God!
So that was his, and it must have been so friggin' painful. But he was really sweet. He was, he'd been deaf growing up, so he kind of talked a bit funny, you know. But really sweet guy, and I kicked his ass a couple of times because he really annoyed me. But apart from that, it was.
He annoyed me.
But he was great, and Bill Bixby was a doll.
But so you got those before you landed the General Hospital?
Yeah,
because
totally.
that was a regular gig. That was like, you were
General Hospital was the first
big,
regular
dude.
gig I ever had.
Were you the biggest star? Were you the first huge daytime television star that you can remember? Because I don't remember anyone being as big of a soap opera star as you.
Well, I think because the music thing kicked in at the same time, it catapulted me in people's minds as far as there were then two camps that knew who I was. So I think that people are surprised. I was only on the show for 18 months. They say, "Man, I thought you were on there for like 5-10 years."
Yeah.
But I went on. I recorded Working Class Dog, which had Jesse's Girl and I've Done Everything for You, and
Right.
And Keith Olsen had produced Jesse's Girl, and Keith was like the big producer, and he was Sound City, which is he made a deal with my manager then to produce it, and he was, and I went up to this soap opera, and he said, "Dude, you don't need this. This is a great record. You don't." And I said, "Nah." I really, at that point, I said, I've had 3 records out already, and they've all gone in the tank. You know, I looked at the chart. Oh wow, 101, fucking awesome.
Right.
And I was sure that was going to happen again with this record. And
hey man, that's how I feel right now. I just finished a record. I've never put a record out where I'm like, this is the one, yo.
No.
They're always like, man, I'm 3 months away from living the dream of waiting tables again.
Yeah. No, it's a very scary thing for a writer. It's especially scary because I still hate playing songs for people, new songs for people, because I know I'm just terrified they're going to go, oh, that's
Are they ever good
I-
enough? Do you just
What's that?
stop working on them? Like,
oh yeah, I've stopped working on a couple of songs. I actually found one the other day that I hadn't worked on for 10 years. I found it on my phone.
Wow.
The memo had loaded, and there's all these parts, and it's a great fucking song. Because when you're away from it that long,
Yeah.
when you're writing a song, it's like, oh god,
yeah, right.
it sounds like shit by the time you're done to
Right.
yourself, But this, and I could sit away, and it was really cool. And I said, wow, all the parts are there, and but. Writing, it's really hard for me to have people hear new songs, and it's just because you're on the line. There's nothing more personal.
There's nothing. I mean, and it's plus you're supposed to be good at it.
Yeah,
So
right.
if people are like, "Dude, really?" and you're
I
like,
thought
"Oh
you
my
were
God,
good."
that defines me. So Sound City, you record. I think your biggest record ever there, right?
Yeah.
And
Met my wife and recorded Jesse's Girl in front of that board. That same board.
you met your wife there.
I met her in front of that
Okay,
board. Yeah.
before your wife, though, you were such a big... things are really cooking for you, right? Were you able to live out the dream that I never got to live out by shagging hundreds
dude.
and thousands of
the-
lovely... Please just tell me, even if it's not true.
Look at Maddie.
Just I never got to do it. I just want to know that somebody did.
I made up for you not
wow.
doing it.
Thank God.
No, but I also lived through the 70s when I first went and came over here. That's when the love generation freaking blossomed. I mean,
You're
everyone
welcome.
wanted to screw everybody, and drugs were involved.
Yeah.
I'd go to parties, and there'd be people like you walk up and there'd be someone doing it right in front of on the front doorstep. And you
Yes.
walk in, hey, all right, how they
Yes.
hanging? And
Hey, when you're done, I'll
Yeah.
be in the kitchen.
clean up first, will you? Thanks. Yeah, and so I was, and as a guy, I was never very good with girls. I didn't have a lot of girlfriends, and it was very difficult for me to talk to girls.
So when you say you weren't really good with girls until you were, what, 7? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, guys have real problems, Rick. Like, guys have real problems,
No,
bro.
I was incredibly shy. I was sure that they'd say no, so I never asked them.
Wow.
And one of the reasons I started playing the guitar was because I saw girls. I love guitar. I'm a guitar whore. I have them all over the house. But I thought, at some point, that's going to be my in with girls. And when, the first time I stood on stage and a girl was like looking at me for more than 5 seconds, I went, fuck, this is it. I'm here. and it was
This
great.
is going to be awesome. Like, that's what my brain would have
She
been
wants
doing.
to do me, I can tell.
My brain would have been doing jumping jacks and like push-ups and been like, this is going down. But that was not my calling. So I'm so glad to know that that you had a strange amount of sex in your life. So you make this record in Sound City, you meet your wife, and you also start meeting good people, and you make this great fucking record. One of the songs on the record is a Sammy Hagar song. I'm going to podcast Sammy in a couple of weeks. Are you and Sammy friends?
Yeah. I mean, it's, we...
He finds you to be much more attractive than him.
I'm much more attractive than him. He has a better
Have
voice
you
than
ever
me.
told him that?
Oh, I have told him many times. I sent him a birthday message once, said, you get a better voice than I do, but I'm still prettier than you are. And because he used to make this joke when I've done it, because I've done everything, put it out himself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we saw him play it on YouTube where he's
Right,
like,
right.
yeah,
He
this
bombed,
song didn't
right?
do shit for me, but it did for handsome guy over there.
Yeah. He always he used to joke, oh yeah, I didn't understand why this was such a big hit for Rick Springfield, and then I met him, and it's those eyes. He'd always make jokes about that. So, but
Right.
I've seen him on and off through the years, and he's really talented guy and great sense of humor, and he was actually really my first show at Santa Monica Civic. He actually helped Keith, who when after Jesse's Girl hit, he helped us get the lights and sound stuff together, and
Really?
it was very cool.
He is he's as ambitious as you are.
Yeah, totally.
Like
dude.
he
Of course
is driven
Yeah.
like mad.
Now look at his friggin' tequila thing. That's unbelievable. I tell the story in the solo shows too about he sent me a bottle of his private stock tequila when he sold his company, and he wrote
Yeah.
on it to Rick, "You've done everything for me, love Sammy." And I said, I don't drink tequila because it makes my clothes come off. But I put it up in the kitchen shelf, just to know it was there. It was a cool
Hoping that
souvenir.
maybe your wife would drink it.
Yeah.
And that
no,
her
but I
clothes
came
would
home
come off.
one night and my kids had drunk it.
Oh, shit.
They were like lying on the floor along with the empty bottle. And,
Thanks, Sammy.
thanks, Eddie.
So this is so interesting to me, the Sound City thing and your connection there, and then with Dave Grohl buying the board and how much that board meant. But then you wrote some music for that movie with Dave, right?
Yeah.
And that song was a really popular song among people who love the movie
Yeah.
and the soundtrack.
Yeah, man, it never was.
Have you and Dave worked again since then?
No, I did a charity thing with him, but we haven't written again together. But I mean, it'd be great if we could, because we're very similar writers in a way, and he's very melodic. And I remember when we were writing The Man Never Was, I'd be sitting and you're always noodling, and I'd play something and he'd play it too, So it had that link kind of immediately. He's a very giving musician. I mean, he's a great guy. He really is.
He's
a
a good guy.
Yeah.
So, with all of these talents that you have, you also decided you have a memoir, and the memoir ended up on the bestsellers list, which is amazing.
I know.
And then you have a novel coming out, because that's very different than a memoir. Like, you don't go from a memoir to a novel. Most people could never write a novel, but Pergo is 100 pages in. We got a pre-order
arc,
because we were able to, and I skimmed a little bit of it. We just got it yesterday, and he read 100 pages, and I read 3. But it's so unique, and there's a lot of like Catholic guilt and religious aspects to these people that are finding that they have this thing in common, and then they meet. How does this come about that you have a storyline like that in your head somewhere?
I wrote it like I write songs, where you just sit down and you start with a line. I know I've talked to a lot of writers now about this, and they because normally you're supposed to have an arc. You know where
Sure.
you begin, you know where it's going to end, and then there's a joke about not a joke, but a theme with writing where you put your hero up in a tree and then you throw stones at him. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And
Oh, that's cool.
so, but I had no idea where I was going to go, because I had no idea where a song's going to go either. So I just sat down and started out with a conversation with God. This guy talking on the phone. If you had God's number.
It's amazing. That's what I ended up reading that that area of it where he calls an 800 number that he finds in a book.
Right.
And calls, and this person answers, and obviously
You can't believe it.
obviously the hero is like, there's whatever, who is this?
Yeah.
But that person happens to know some shit that should not
some
know.
secret stuff, yeah.
And that's happening to a couple of other people, and then you all meet up, and that's as far as Pergo got.
Yeah.
And then he switched right over to RedTube. Have you ever heard of RedTube? It's a porn site.
Oh.
So yeah, he goes right
Crash
to.
the server.
Like it very much.
He crashes the server.
ShaveGoat.com. Let's play Stain the Couch. Have you seen that one? That's
I
a
don't know
great
any
one.
of those.
Wow.
That's some next level.
No, they're actually made up porno sites in my book.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Stained couch.
So they're in the
let's play
book.
Stain the Couch.
They're in your book.
Yes.
These fake names.
Well, there's a lot of the books. There's a lot of sex in the book, but it's the guys. Someone likened it a little bit to Portnoy's Complaint, where this guy's sexually obsessed. I mean, he really is, but only because he never got any. And there's a lot of truth in. The characters all have a degree of truth in me. I mean, there's a bit of me in all the characters, and I think that's how you create a character, is to
Sure.
start from a moment of truth. Like a song, it starts from a moment of something sparking that song.
Right.
And then you can really take it anywhere, but,
Yeah.
to make it a great song. But it does have to start with truth, I think, and I've tried to do that with that.
And has it been read and critiqued yet?
Yeah, we've got some...
You have good reviews?
We got reviews from Booklist and
'Cause
Kirkus,
it's
which are literary magazines.
It's so interesting.
Well, they love to. My editor called me up saying, Kirkus and Booklist gave it a great review. These people are serious literary people that love to slam guys like me. That go,
Wow.
I got this little pop song. You know what? I think I'll write a novel now.
Right.
So they love to get those kind of guys. And so for them to give it a good review was really encouraging to me.
Did someone help you write it?
No.
Really?
No, I
You
sent
wrote
the
this
whole-
book and then had it edited, maybe?
Yeah, I wrote the whole thing. I sent it to Stacy, who's my editor, and then I wrote it in like 4 months, and we worked through it for about 5. Just
5 years.
5 months.
Oh, 5 months.
Yeah.
How
No,
long
it's
did it
pretty
take you to
short.
write the book? By the
4
way,
months.
it's called Magnificent Vibration.
Vibration,
It
yeah.
took you 4 months to write this book. Holy shit.
Well, I knew I had to finish it, or it would just sit.
You
know?
this might be what you do
Well, I always
from now
wanted
on.
to write. Honestly, when I was a kid, it was the only thing I ever got any good attention for at school was my essays. Because I was an insatiable reader. I mean, I'd stay home from school.
Really?
And I'd read books. I wouldn't get high and play video games. I'd read books. I loved horror. I loved sci-fi, and I started writing my own stories for school essays, and they were the only things that ever got any good grades. And my teachers would say, "You should be a writer. You should be."
Wow.
When as a kid,
That's
you go,
really cool that you're hearing that as a kid.
Yeah, because my other thing was me drumming incessantly on the desk, and the other one
Yeah.
was you should be a drummer.
Right.
Always doing this, yeah.
Now, please stop.
Yeah.
Right?
Stop.
They would say, you should be a drummer,
You
but
should be a
not
drummer,
here.
but not in this class.
Yeah. So I guess so the ambition met with all the talent. What haven't you accomplished yet? Because to me, the greatest actor that I've ever seen is Daniel Day-Lewis. But when I look at you, there's no way you couldn't do that shit. Like, you're just that kind of guy. Like, you could be all those characters that I've seen him be. You're a tall, great-looking guy, and you know how to act like a motherfucker. Like, why didn't that become, like, I'm going to do this? Because you know how hard it is. It's as hard as writing a great song.
Yeah,
To
totally.
be a great actor is intensely difficult.
Because music comes first, I think. Writing comes first. For me, writing comes first.
So would
And
you
the music.
rather... Have you ever written scripts?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you
Yeah,
have?
we've got one out that we're sending around now.
You have a movie that you've written... Jesus, man. You got to stop it, because...
You understand? You're
But I mean,
driven as I am.
I want to do all those things, but I don't have that kind of talent.
Well, we haven't sold it yet, but but I mean, we sold some of the stuff. Which I mean, the fact that we sold the novel was kind of good to me because with an autobiography, it's like, okay, well, yeah,
Sure.
people know. Some people know you. We'll sell a certain
gonna
amount of
be, yeah.
books, but novel is very different. So I was very happy that we. that
I
sold
can't
it.
wait to read it, man. That sounds really like
It's my publisher calls it an extreme novel. It's
Really?
extreme because it's very convoluted, and I'm writing the sequel now, and it's just going
Really?
all over the place.
really.
But I get into a lot of things.
Do you
that I
smoke
believe.
pot?
What's that?
Do you smoke pot?
I don't. I smoked pot when I was in Vietnam. I used to smoke dope all day long in Vietnam.
What were you doing in Vietnam?
Playing for the troops.
Wow, that's amazing.
1968. Yeah.
In 1968, you were
Yeah.
playing for the troops.
Yeah.
That's amazing,
We
dude.
got shot at and rocketed. And
Really?
Yeah. The lead of the band actually died when we got home from a disease he caught over there.
Oh my God, dude.
And we all got some lung disease, and the doctor said, "Well, you been anywhere exotic lately?" I said, "Yeah, I just got back from Vietnam." And we all ran to the doctors to get X-rays because on the days off we'd stay in these rat-infested villas in Saigon and Da Nang, and then the troops, different companies would come in and take us out to their fire bases or wherever they were, and we'd play and then stay the night there, but we'd have days off sometimes. Sometimes we'd go out with the GIs.
How long were you there?
4 months. And
Oh my shit.
oh, it was insane. One time I went out on a mission, which you can't do that stuff now because there's press everywhere. You hear about it. But I went out on a mission with one of them in a Apache helicopter, and you go off, and when you got days off, you just go out with the guys. You befriend them. They're all real desperate for friends, to hook up, and when you go out with them. And so he probably went somewhere that we didn't go. Like Agent Orange. I mean, they're spraying Agent Orange all over the place.
Oh
but it
my
was,
God,
But but we're together most of the time. So wherever he went, that he got that
And then
disease. We
did
didn't
you?
go.
This was your band from Australia.
Yeah, this was a band called MPD. It wasn't my band. I was a guitar player.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts.
That sounds like the scariest trip of all time.
It's absolutely terrible.
But
I was terrified.
You were probably too young to be scared.
No,
huh?
I was, dude. When I first went over there, I was 17, right? And I went over there, and I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be great. I love travel and get to play guitar.
Right.
And the first time we got rocketed, when we're playing, I'm going,
When you're playing,
when
you're
we're
getting
playing, yeah,
rocketed.
rocketed. We'd play fire bases, which most of the time they're fire bases. Sometimes we play big encampments.
Oh my God.
But a lot of the time they'd fly us in a Huey, and we'd sleep in the same, like in a tent with the GIs, sweating and dirty and shit, and we'd play, and they, they always getting attacked. And
Oh my God.
you see the guys diving under tables if there are tables, or and the guy come and run us into a bunker, and we didn't know. We stayed one night outside Da Nang, a place called Marble Mountain. We befriended this Navy company that was set up on the beach, this incredible beach, right? And we befriended them, and we got along real great with them. So we went back and did a free show. And we stayed overnight. I said, we'll put you in bunkers with all the guys, and you could, and I was in the frickin' radio shack at the top of the hill, and all the rest of the band were in bunkers with these guys. They have little underground bunkers where they,
Right.
We got attacked,
Oh.
right? And I see this helicopter go down in fucking flames, and I'm in the radio shack, and there's movement over there. They check, make sure there's no friendlies around, right? You see like green traces going across the sky as people are attacking, and so we throw mortars down to at this movement over in the bushes,
Oh, my God.
outside the perimeter.
You
And
guys
it's
had a
insane.
terrible booking agent.
Yeah, you had the worst booking agent in the history of the world.
I know, dude.
And did you get paid?
I never didn't make any money off it. There's a bass player and I. Actually, it was the guy who left, who broke the band up. We later went on to form another band, which was my first ever record I ever made. He was the bass player that broke the band up because he didn't get to sing the song. But we were really good friends over there, and we starved. We get paid MPC military money, and we'd blow it all like right away on either girls or dope or lavish meal or something like that, and which lavish is
Yeah, bologna sandwich.
yeah, exactly. And we eat sea rations a lot of time. But it was the first time I'd ever tasted turkey, because the Americans feed their soldiers really well. This friggin' drumstick, I felt like Fred Flintstone. It was huge.
Yeah.
And they had like chocolate milk machines.
Wow,
And
that's
it
nice.
like blew my mind. And I'd never seen anything like that. First time I'd ever seen an electric window. They had some big cars over there, and I'm like playing.
Wow, that's amazing.
Cool. There's Americans. They're awesome. Fuck, they got everything.
Do you still think Americans are awesome?
I do.
Oh, that's cool. So, I think I have a few questions I'd like to ask you before I let you go on about your life. But if we don't play a little bit of a couple of songs,
Sure.
I think I'm going to end up getting thrown out of my house. So I'd love if you could sing a little bit of like "Don't Talk to Strangers," man. Like,
When you were just a young girl and still in school, how come you never learned the golden rule? Don't talk to strange men, don't be a fool. I'm hearing stories, I don't think that's cool. Why don't you tell me someone is loving you? 'Cause you're my girl, some say it's no longer true. You see, some slick continental dude, I'm begging you, don't talk to stranger. Baby, don't you talk to stranger. You know we'll only use you up. Don't talk to nobody. Nobody ever told you can't sing this. You gotta have someone else to sing this.
no, that's perfect. That's great. That's amazing, dude.
You can't
It's
sing that
such a
song
great
by
song.
yourself.
Did you sing that song, or did you write that song?
What's that?
Did you write that?
I did, yes.
Man, you wrote some.
Because of the
killers.
call and response. You can't.
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
you can't. Yeah, it's
yeah.
like, don't talk to strangers, baby. Don't you talk? Don't talk. Yeah, that's the only.
How about
piece
the
of-
Sammy song, man? Can
Yeah.
you just?
That's the only piece of music I ever wrote stoned. Was that
That?
riff?
Oh,
the riff,
really?
The riff.
I'm so glad that you wrote it.
Huh?
Did you write it there?
No, I wrote it on the piano.
Because
Actually.
then, so it's.
Oh no, you wrote it. The original's A. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about this gem? So, because let me tell you, man, and I'm going to tell Sammy this to his face. You do it so much better than him. The reason it's so much bigger is because it's so much better, and I can't wait to tell him.
Is that how you do it?
And then I'm going to
Dude, I'm
ask him
cuter.
if I can borrow some money.
You right?
Then I'm going to ask him if I can borrow some of his money.
Absolutely.
You got enough now. This one-way love affair ain't fair. It ain't no fair to me. It's all give and take, and you just take it. I can't take it, you say. I'm giving up on love this time. Me and my friends will do just fine. I've done everything for you. You've done nothing for me. I've done everything for you.
Man, so much better than Sammy.
So much better than Sammy.
And then, you know,
that boy can sing.
man, this song is ridiculous.
Oh.
This guy's real name is Gary. Is it true?
Yeah.
I call Jerry Gary a lot because it's disrespectful.
I love it.
And I like to do that. And so, but you can't sing.
Gary is a friend. Yeah, I know he's been a good friend of mine. But lately something's changed. It ain't hard to define. Just Gary's got himself a girl. I wanna make her mine. And she's watching him with those eyes. And she's loving him with that body. I just know it. And he's holding her in his arms late at night. You know, I wish that I guess it's girl. I wish that I guess it's girl. Tell me, where can I find a woman like that?
Woo! That shit is so
Damn.
good, dude. Man.
You guys should start a band.
Sometimes do you ever sing that song and look in the mirror and go, I'm a bad motherfucker? I asked Daryl Hall that once. I said, sometimes do you wake...
Daryl probably said, yeah, I do. Often. Yeah.
I go, Daryl, sometimes do you wake up and go, I'm Daryl fucking Hall? And he said, yes, as a matter of fact, I do. I do that.
Yes, I
so,
do that.
you know...
The only time I've ever looked in the mirror and done that was on the video.
And then you broke it with your guitar, right?
That was our big budget expense, was 27 mirrors. And that's why...
Are you serious? There were 27 mirrors you broke?
27 mirrors.
Different takes.
None of you was like, hey, this could be bad luck?
No.
Because you were like, this is a music video.
With your guitar.
Yeah, I busted with the guitar.
Yeah, amazing.
It's amazing. You got to do it 27 times.
27 times. It was really cool.
Hey, Pergo, make this note. Next train video, 27 mirrors I'm breaking. Oh, no, 28. I want to break 28. I'm going to break 28.
One more.
I have an Elvis question. Is it true about the airplane story?
Yeah.
Tell them the story. I love the story.
Well, I wasn't like a giant Elvis fan then. I am now because I was kind of a Beatle fan.
Yeah.
But I get on a plane going back to Australia in 1972, and I'm in the back of the bus, of course, because it's 1972. And I walk by the front first class section, and there's Elvis sitting there. And this powder blue, he looked freaking awesome. Flawless skin, jet black hair, skinny. He was still skinny. This is when he was doing the first Hawaii stuff. He was flying to Hawaii. And I'm in the back, and as we're coming into land of Hawaii, because back then you go to Hawaii, then Australia. I'd never seen anybody do this. He started walking back through the economy section of planes, signing autographs.
Oh, that's cool.
Freaking awesome. And I was being managed at the time, like I said, by Steve Bender, who did his comeback special. So I had a bit of a conversation with him, saying, I'm managed by Steve Bender, you know. He's,
that's so cool,
I like
man.
Steve. Yeah, I
That's
like
amazing.
Steve. And I had a girlfriend in Australia at the time who was a giant Elvis fan, so I got him to sign an autograph to Allison, this girl that I was kind of singing for a while. And I stuck it in my tape machine. You know, I had like a little reel-to-reel that I'd write on.
Yeah.
And the Australian Customs took it. Like, I don't know what they thought I had dog porn or something on it. Oh. And when I got it back, the autograph was gone.
That's what I heard.
Man, what a cool story, man.
Yeah, it was really great to have met him. It's kind of like, you met Jesus?
You know, I've tried to walk in the back and sign autographs for people in airplanes, and they go, "Who are you, dude? Just leave me alone." So can I just ask
Are you here to take our drink order? Yeah.
Can I ask you these last few questions, and then I'm going to let you have your life back? My wife always likes me to ask, is there a best tour find that you've had over the years? Some, like you've traveled around the world, and like a hot dog joint or a record joint or something that you wouldn't have found without touring the world, that you can tell people about, that they could visit?
Does it include dog porn, or is that...
I don't mind that at all, yeah, if it's...
Let me think.
Is there a place that when you travel you have to go to? Like every time you go to Japan, like a place that you have
Oh, Kittyland! The only place in Tokyo has this 7-story toy department. I love toys. I'm a toy freak. I never got enough toys as a kid.
Like do you buy
stars.
like toys and then keep them, or do you bring them home for your kids, or you
No,
set
not
them
for
up
me.
some-
No, dude, when I was growing up, well, I mean, when my sons were growing up, I had a better toy collection than they did, and they had to keep their fucking hands off it.
Did you see the Lego movie?
I did not.
You have to, because it's very much about that.
Is it really?
Yes.
You're
it's
president
awesome.
business.
What's that?
So Kittyland is a toy
It's a
place
toy,
in
it's a toy
Japan.
store. 7 stories of toys. It's awesome. Cause I've got like a little mini toy collection of really boring stuff that only, it's the part of me that still lives in the basement. of my mom's house.
Yeah, you have to see the Lego Movie.
I will.
It's really, it really
I love
plays.
Will Ferrell and I
What
love
kind of
toys.
toys?
So.
What's your big collection? Are you sci-fi, Star Wars? What's your
Yeah, I
thing?
got Star Wars action figures.
Yeah, all of them?
0 to. Well,
77?
I bought them originally, and I took one of them out and started playing with it. I go, dude, what am I doing? I'm an adult, So and
Gotta
they
keep
look.
them in a package.
Yeah, they look
Yeah.
great in the package,
They
so
do.
I kept them all in the packages, and that happened to be how they became worth something. But I got some really rare. I got like
And
a
you
couple of
still have
figures.
them?
Yeah, I got a couple of figures that there's only like one in existence.
Like the blue snaggletooth?
I got a blue snaggletooth.
Come
but
on.
I got a thing called
What else?
What?
What else?
I got all
These guys
three,
are so nerds
double
for what you're
telescoping
talking about.
lightsabers.
You have
Dude,
all three of them?
Dude, this
They're
is- this-
thousands of dollars each.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of money, and I got one thing called Headman that's so
Yeah, I remember-
rare.
oh my-
He's not even in any of the movies.
Really?
Yeah.
You have the...
I'll show you. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, is there something you're a fan of currently? Do you watch TV shows?
I don't.
or-
I don't watch TV. I have ADD, and I can't sit still long enough to watch a television show. And I didn't grow up with television because I lived in the country in Australia. And the first time I saw color television actually was when I came over here in 1971. But we didn't have TV. We used to sit around. We had a player piano. We'd sit around. My dad
Right.
was a singer. He's in the army, but he had a great voice. And we'd sit around the piano and sing Carousel and Oklahoma and South Pacific, all these kind of songs. And so I grew up with all that kind of stuff. And I didn't. So television became intrusive to me. My band members would go in the hotel room, and turn the
Just
TV
turn it
on.
right
This is
on.
company, yeah.
Right.
To me, it's
How
intrusive.
about a book? Is there something you're reading currently that you can tell people about? Or do you
yeah,
have a favorite book you want to tell people about?
Oh God, got so many.
Are you a fan of Murakami?
No.
Okay.
Only because I.
You don't know his work?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't
Okay.
read it.
I'll send you something.
All right, great. Yeah, I'm a big sci-fi fan,
Cool.
honestly.
Yeah,
and,
he writes science fiction-y, but it's not space stuff. It's,
No,
It's
it-
like alternate world
Yes,
stuff.
alternate world kind of stuff. I mean, I love so many books. I love them.
All right, that's okay. So the last couple things are the book comes out on May 6th.
May 6th, yeah.
And what about a website or Instagram or anything? How do people get in touch with Rick Springfield personally or just to find out where you are?
Well, my cell number is 310.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Okay. Well, I have a website, a great website we've had for a long, long time now called rickspringfield.com, but I only chose that because rickspringfielddropshis.pants.com was taken. So,
Man, that would be amazing.
yeah, Rick Springfield picks his nose was taken too, which really sucks.
Are you
I wanted
serious?
That one first, yeah. So,
I think
there's
I think I own that one.
but there's a magnificent vibration.com.
Okay, great.
About the book.
Great.
But everything's on Rick.
Well, your website looks great, and it has
Yeah,
magnificent vibration on the cover of it, and whoever's doing your site is doing a really nice
he's
job.
Amazing. Yeah, he actually, Jim Bellata does it, and he, this hilarious photo from Live Aid. This guy is.
Yeah, there's so much we didn't talk about.
But
I have to come back another
is-
time. Like Live
Yeah,
Aid,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Well,
that you
there's
got
this
to play
photo
there.
of me in Live Aid, and there's like a football field full of,
Yeah.
the stadium full of people, right? And I'm standing like this singing, and there's just sea of blurred faces. There's a red arrow pointing at this guy with a hat on. This guy sent it to me, and I look at it. It's friggin' Jim Bellata, my web guy.
Oh my God,
Back
that's
in
so
'85,
funny.
he was right there in the audience. The shot of me with
Oh, crazy.
Jim in the audience.
In Philly?
But yeah, in Philly.
Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you got to play Live Aid. Another thing I didn't get to talk to you about was that Neil Giraldo played guitar on
Jesse Girl, and I've done everything for you.
yeah, and now you're doing a co-headline tour with
him and Pat.
With him and Pat Benatar this summer. So
Yeah.
you guys probably stayed friends, I would assume. and
yeah,
that's
they live
why-
here, and we're.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, we're always on the road, but yeah, anytime we see each other, it's
And when does that tour start? You're touring all the time.
Yeah,
man.
we tour all the time.
June 28th in Atlanta.
June 28th in Atlanta.
June 28th in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But before that, like, you have so many tour dates on. Like, I don't know if you like to talk about your age, but man, dude, you are so inspiring. Like, you look better than all of us. You sing better than all of us. You
No.
play better than all of us. You're more
Nonsense,
ambitious. You're
nonsense.
writing books and TV shit.
Well,
Like,
I am ready.
I hope that on some
I'll
level.
be eligible for Medicare in a couple of months. And I'm going to draw my Social Security because I paid so much friggin' money to the government. I want some of it back. God damn it!
I want to end by saying I hope on some level, because you have the same. If you have the same ambitious issue, then you have some of the same insatiable parts of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I hope at some point you're able to take a bow and just congratulate yourself on a couple of your life achievements, because they're fucking amazing, man. You own Grammy, and you're probably gonna get many other awards between now and the time that you decide to stop working, which is probably never.
I'm hoping for
But
that
like,
one.
you've accomplished an enormous amount. I hope that you know that. I hope that you, as you do continue to want the golden ring, whatever that is, that you understand that you already have a bunch of them. Because sometimes we don't see those things,
I don't. I was never the guy that put the platinum records up on the wall. For me, I get them and I go, okay, well that record's done. I'm glad it was successful. I put that in the closet, and they are actually out here in a shed and got all rained on, so I don't have any of that stuff because I look forward. I can't when albums, to me, if an award like that is like, well, the record's done. I don't need to put that up. That's like looking back. I always look forward, and it's a pain in the ass, as I'm sure you know, that that you're driven. I can't sit still. I've got to be. We go on vacation. That's why I started writing the book, because I went on vacation.
Yeah,
and my wife's sitting in the backyard of my mom's house, going, "What the fuck? What am I going to do?"
Yeah, I've been here for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do something.
I haven't done anything. We
need to build a shed.
I'm meaningless.
Yeah.
My life is meaningless.
Yeah. Well, man, congratulations on an amazing career and being such a lovely person. I mean, what a fucking easy guy to hang out with, and that's hard to be. Especially after as long as you've done this and as much as you've accomplished, that you're still the same bloke that
I am the same bloke,
grew
right?
up on this little farm in Australia. That's a hard achievement, and man, that's the main one. So that's awesome that you're still that guy. Thanks so much for doing the Patcast.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you had to be around Pergo and Jerry for this long.
Guy with the guitar and the glasses?
I know.
I'm right here, man. I'm right here. I've been here the whole time. Rick,
They just want to see the Star Wars.
Yeah. How soon on the Star Wars, brother?
They came for the Star Wars. Thanks again, man.
Thanks.
Where's the fucking money, Lebowski? I just needed to bring it back for one more time because I think it's really great.
I'm going to cut all this stuff.
And no editing, Pergo. That was Rick Springfield, a great musician, a great author, a great actor, and owner of the rarest Star Wars action figures that we've ever seen. And you heard it here first, folks. Lou Ferrigno isn't really green. Jerry was crushed. At least until he got to play with the Star Wars toys. Then Jerry was not crushed anymore. You can find out everything you want to know about Rick on rickspringfield.com. He is Rick Springfield on Instagram, Rick Springfield on Twitter, and his book even has its own website, magnificentvibration.com. It came out last week, and you can find it at bookstores or ebook stores near you. Find us here every Monday at patcast.com and at iTunes. We're on all of your favorite social media under Patcast Podcast. And as always, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.